Hello folks, Ruby Naka here. If you're trying to learn about the provisions of JJ Act, you're watching the right channel. I often get this question, people asking me how I developed this interest to study and learn about JJ Act, Juvenile and Justice Act. So I thought I might as well make a video to tell people about my journey, my story, how I developed this interest. I have a disclaimer to make. I'm not a lawyer, not a doctor to talk about this subject. I'm just an ordinary worker in an NGO happen to develop this interest. So whatever I'm going to be sharing are my personal experiences with a hope that it might also help you. I joined this organization in 2006. In the same year, I happened to visit District Social Welfare Officer in our collectorate. So she showed me a letter she received from her head office and asked me to join into something they call it as Child Welfare Committee, CWC. I asked her for more details and she didn't have any clue. So out of respect, not to upset and disappoint her, I gave my name. Next thing I knew, I got a letter, long letter from the state government stating that they have appointed me as a member of Child Welfare Committee and my remuneration is this, my sitting times are this, and all that details were given to me. I had no clue, but I decided to, give it a try. So I used to visit Child Welfare Committee meetings. Child Welfare Committee is a body that is created under Juvenile and Justice Act or JJ Act to cater to the needs of the children that comes to them in need of care and protection. So I would be dealing with these children with a power conferred on us equivalent to judicial magistrate of first class. So we are judicial officials making legal decisions for children. So I would be sitting with colleagues, four other members, would be saying JJ Act says this, JJ Act says that, and I was like, what is JJ Act? Where do I find it? And they were astonished that I didn't know anything about JJ Act. And I'm still sitting there. Weeks became months and I decided to act on it. So I approached the Commissioner of Social Defense and I asked her if she could send me for training to learn about JJ Act. Of all the places, she sent me to National Institute of Public Cooperation and Child Development. Guess where? In New Delhi. I had to be gone for a month. I'm married and I have a wife and I have children and I was expected to be gone for a month. So I had to plead with my family to allow me to go for a month, and my family was happy for me to go and learn about this JJ Act. And it is at NIPS in New Delhi. We studied every act pertains to children with a special emphasis on JJ Act. It is at this place my interest began to grow. I want to introduce you to certain documents I always carry with me so that I can cross-check every time I have a doubt. To begin with, this is the bare act of JJ Act 2015. I printed it off of the web and I spiral bound it, but if you're not interested, you can always buy this in the bookstores. You can get it for 100 rupees. But remember, you must buy the version 2015. Second book is JJ Model Rules 2016. What is the difference between JJ Act and JJ Rules is this. JJ Act is passed by the power of Parliament, by the parliamentarians. And the JJ Model Rules is passed by the concerned ministry. In this case, it is the Ministry of Women and Child Development. And the third document is JJ State Rules. I live in the state of Tamil Nadu. So these are called Tamil Nadu State JJ Rules. So now you must be wondering, what is the difference between JJ Model Rules that I showed you earlier and the state rules? Almost the same, except that JJ Model Rules are released by the central government, state rules are released by the state government. So in case of states where there is no state document, you could use until they release the document JJ Model Rules. Last document that I want to show you is Adoption Regulations of 2017. Adoption is part and parcel of JJ Act. So I also have a personal interest in adoptions. So I also carry the document with me everywhere I go so that anybody has any questions, if I have to cross-check, these documents are always with me so that I can answer them effectively. Now let's talk about how to study JJ Act. I divided this into three parts. One is the foundational information, structure of the Act, and strategy of learning about the Act. When I finish this, I will have 2 bonus points to learn JJ Act more efficiently. Now let's get into the ways and means of learning to study JJ Act. The foundational information is this. JJ Act is broadly divided into 2 parts. One is called Children in Need of Care and Protection, other one is called Children in Conflict with the Law. The second foundational information that I would like for you to understand is any act you take will have 3 sections primarily: the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. Now let's get into the structure of the Act. I told you in the foundational information, the Act will have 3 parts, right? Introductory part, body, and the conclusion. Now we are getting into the structure. So you should see these 3 parts: the introduction part, the body part, and the conclusion part. In JJ Act, there are primarily 10 chapters. So out of these 10 chapters, first 2 chapters, we could comfortably state that they are introductory chapters. Okay? And the next 2 chapters are concerning the children in conflict with the law. You remember those 2 parts I was talking about? Now we have finished the introductory part, that's the first 2 chapters, and we're getting into the body part. In the body area, we have to cover these 2 parts. So the first 2 chapters are allotted, that is chapter 3 and chapter 4, because first 2 chapters, you remember, are the introductory part. Chapter 3, now we have entered the body. Chapter 3 and chapter 4 are allotted to children in conflict with the law. Now we are coming to the children in need of care and protection. Chapter 5, chapter 6. So you have to have this mental picture in your head about the different areas represented in different chapters. Now let's go to the little bit further into the body of the Act, that is chapter 7 talks about rehabilitation of these children, either need of care and protection or in conflict with the law. Chapter 8 is about adoption. Chapter 9 talks all about the offenses committed against children by others, and chapter 10 is miscellaneous. So you can see the structure of the JJ Act. There are 10 chapters. As I told you, any act should have 3 sections: introduction, body, and conclusion. In the introduction, those first 2 chapters will fit in. Next 6 chapters will be in the body, and the last 2 chapters will be in the conclusion. 2, 6, 2. Remember that. 2 chapters are introduction, 6 chapters are in the body, or 2 chapters are in the conclusion part. So in the 6 chapters that we're talking about in the body, 2 chapters are meant for, chapter 3 and chapter 4 are meant for children in conflict with the law. 2 chapters are meant for children in need of care and protection, chapter 5 and chapter 6. Chapter 7 is for rehabilitating these 2 groups of children. Chapter 8 is about adoption. And as I told you, in the conclusion part there are 2 chapters. The chapter 9 is all about the offenses committed against children, and the last part is miscellaneous part. Next thing I want to talk in the area of structure that we're talking about is the sections. See, there is an act. In that act there are sections, and in each section there could be many subsections. So if you look at JJ Act, there are totally 112 sections fit in 10 chapters. So as I told you, first 2 chapters are called as introductory chapters. Next 6 chapters are called as body of the act. Last 2 chapters are called as conclusions. Now, the first 2 chapters if you take, how many sections are there in the chapter 1? Just 1 and 2. In chapter 2, how many sections are there? 1. In chapter 3, how many are there? So on and so forth. So if you develop this mental picture of this structure, the JJ Act has 10 chapters. First 2 chapters are called as introduction. Next 6 chapters are called as body. Last 2 chapters are called as conclusion. First 2 chapters are for introduction and principles. Next 2 chapters are in conflict with the law. And next 2 chapters, that is chapter 5 and 6, is for the children in need of care and protection, rehabilitation, adoption, and miscellaneous. Now you fit in the sections into these chapters. How many sections are there in each chapter? Last part I want to talk about is a strategy. Now you have a structure in your head. The broad division of the JJ Act is that children in conflict with the law, children in need of care and protection. There are 10 chapters divided into 3 areas: introduction, body, and conclusion. In each chapter there are sections and subsections. And how many sections are there? And in each chapter you need to know. I mean, you need to remember. Let's say, for example, if somebody is talking about children in need of care and protection, who is taking care of these children? I know it is Child Welfare Committee. Child Welfare Committee is in chapter 5. Chapter 5 has this many sections. Okay, all that it takes for me is to open my book, go straight to chapter 5 and flip through, and you are there. If you don't remember this, what you most likely will be doing is you will be flipping the pages from section 1 to section 112. You will be wasting your time. And if you repeatedly do this, you will begin to remember sections and subsection. I can tell you now, section 50 is all about children's homes. Subsection 2 of section 50 is all about children's homes that is categorized for children with special needs. So if you continuously do this referencing, the sections and subsections and the chapters will get stuck in your brain, and you will be coming across as a very informed individual. Now, coming to the bonus point I wanted to tell you about, this is little cheating part. I always have the digital versions of these acts in my laptop. So for example, I am in a hurry to find something and I don't know where it is. What all that I do is I open the act, Control F, there is a search box, I just type what I am looking for. If I am looking for Child Welfare Committee, I just type Child Welfare Committee. The document will show where all it shows the word or phrase Child Welfare Committee. I just have to flip through each area where it says Child Welfare Committee, and I would find out exactly what I'm looking for. Other tip that I would like to share with you to learn about JJ Act is to have someone to talk to. The easiest person that I can suggest to talk to is your co-worker who is working with you. If you can have a reason to talk to about the JJ Act, refer the sections. If you keep saying to him, chapter 50 of JJ Act, subsection 2 of chapter 50 of JJ Act, does this, says this, please do this. And whenever you write letters, quote the references. The more you do it, easier it gets stuck in your head. And when it does, you will never forget. That's all the information I have, folks, for today. If you like this video, please like it, share it, comment on it, and most importantly, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Till we meet again, goodbye.